Hello, just welcome back to Maypole Farm, and we are starting off. Well, we're starting off on U1. Put the clock back running. I've been faffing, and we're starting off with selling some milk. So let's do that. At the end of May, we're going to abandon the truck yet again because I haven't fixed the trailer yet. I do at least know what's wrong with the trailer. If you missed the community post that I did, there is a bug with the game. It is not a mod issue, and it affects, it would appear, quite a lot of things intermittently. So yeah, and that is a contract vehicle because I haven't collected on the contracts yet. We're going to park this guy out of the way for an uno momento, por favor. Let's switch you off. The tractor's also running because we've been feeding the cows. We are at the point we have an hay bale left. But that's fine because we're going to be making more hay. And we're going to do that in a moment. So what we're going to do first is two things. Number one, I'm going to turn the volume down because for a rare change, I actually have sound going. We're going to collect on some contracts. I did some contracts. As I said I was going to. So I did 3 fertilizing contracts and that weeding contract. We've just sold the milk and we have £115,000 in the bank, which is rather nice. We red tape. Well, we didn't red tape. We have had a red tape evaluation, I guess, because a month has ended, and we got a £500 fine for cutting some trees down because the game doesn't like us. We had a minus 10-point score for our sustainable forestry. I guess it sucks to be us. So at some point this month, we'll plant some more trees. That'll help set things. I want to set our store delivery point back. Yeah, the cows. I fed the cows in, I think it was about lunchtime-ish, and slept. And they ate all of the food that I had given them. I completely filled their enclosures, so that also sucked. I think I might have hit it just about okay, but anyway, that wasn't good. What I would like to do, if we can afford it, is not by the next app. I just did a quick check of the sales. And what we want is not in the sales, but I think it's new tractor time, folks. For no other reason than I fancy it, you know. Hmm, we're not going to John Deere. We're not. We're not going to Deutz. We're going to John Deere. Um, so I think what we've been waffling on about for a long time is a nice John Deere 6R. What we should have a look at first is the power requirement, and probably the most power hungry thing we're going to have is the mowers, which is 160 plus 70 is 230. So about the time that I finish work today. How about that? So do we go for the base game version or the mod version? That's a very good question. Is there any difference? The modded version is a cheaper base price, so we're going to go for that. So horsepower, 59. So there's a bit of a price difference. 16, what's that, 14-ish grand for that extra few horsepower. We wanted 240, didn't we? 244 is enough. So I think that's what we'll go for. I don't know if this is set up for variable tire pressure. We've got the option for it. So we'll go for yes. So we want EU design, panoramic window. I'm not going to spend £5 on a freaking window. Warning signs, don't care. Exhaust, standard. Silver, standard. It is. Beacon lights, left, right, left and right. Yeah, we'll do that. They can stay the same. I'm doing all of this and we're going to have to go borrow money. So 3-point. We do want a 3-point on the front. So let's go back to that. We don't need a front loader attacher. So that's let's call it 260. So 260 plus the cost of the mowers. Let's get ourselves an calculator. Clear 260 plus. It'd be nice if you could have the in-game calculator up whilst you're doing other stuff. But anyway, let's not whinge any more than we need to. 13.5 plus 75. Let's call that 350. So if we borrow another 250, that'll give us a bit of a buffer. So finances. So currently we've got 138 outstanding. Take loan. Max amount. We can borrow lots. We're going to borrow 250 over, let's go 3 years. Financing a tractor over 3 years seems reasonable to me. And we're doing a reasonable amount of milk now, so I'm not worried about the £7 monthly repayment. Hopefully we can repay some of this quicker anyway. So yeah, Bosch, take loan. Awesome. Back into the store. So mowers. Buy. Yes, please. Buy. Yes, please. And then big, shiny new tractor. And we did say we were going to sell the Steyr. And maybe we'll do that. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll keep it. Maybe we just want to have many tractors. So 244 horsepower. Standard tires is fine. I am going to enable variable tire pressure. I'm not sure, as I said, if any tires are actually set up for that. Standard exhaust. All of the beacons. We don't need to put that on because we get GPS anyway. Camera. Nah. Front loader attacher. No. Number plate. I know I've been really bad at doing this, but I promise I will go through at some point and sort out all of the number plates based off of patrons and YouTube channel members. I just suck at the moment at being organized enough, and I do apologize. You are appreciated, patrons and YouTube channel members. Bosh. And we've got a mighty £11 left. Very nice. So nice. So nice having a new tractor like this. Is it a bit of a luxury? Yes. Did I need it? Not really. Do I care? No. It's cool, you know. It's a video game. We're here to have fun. And what we're going to do, assuming... Yeah, well, we've got a tornado later on. Fancy. Anyway, we're going to go cut the grass to make some hay. And so what I'm planning to do today, we need to go check the moisture level, obviously. But we're going to have to do some tedding anyway, probably. So it's not a big deal. I'd like to get to the point. We'll see how far we get. See how far we get. The furthest I'm going to go is getting it baled today. I mean, probably we're going to use the Anderson to get it, or the Arcusin, sorry, to get it down to the farm. But we're going to have to do some manual work to get it in the shed. Anyway, yeah. But we'll see. I've been playing around with doing. Where's my grass field? Where's my grass field, folks? Up here. Okay, that's fine. With doing a little bit of in-cab work and using some eye tracking software. And I'd kind of like to have a go at using that to do the bale stacking. I think that would be fun and interesting to test it out. But I think it's going to take us a while to get to that point. And two, I don't have my external webcam with me because I couldn't find it before I left to be away in the hotel today. 200,000 litres, that's a lot of hay. And also, I just think it's going to take... Oh, I meant to check the moisture. I think it's going to take us a while to get to that point. So, 12%. That's not bad, actually. I think it's 7% for hay. So, with like a pass of the tedder, we might end up at hay. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Yeah, so that's kind of I'd kind of like to have a go at doing that. But yeah, when I was getting packed up yesterday to come away to the hotel that I am staying in this week, I couldn't find my webcam that I have for so slightly random, I guess. It was brought for, what did I buy it for? One of the assessments I had for my autism diagnosis, which was done via a video call, and you had to have webcam. And about 3 hours before, you guys know I have a laptop, and about 3 hours before, I thought I'll just give the webcam it was my old laptop, but I'll just give it a quick test, and it didn't work. So I had to do a mad panic dash to, if you're in the UK, you'll know the store, but if you're not, it's a store called Curry's, which is like a local electronics store, and just basically buy whatever webcam they had in stock. And I've used it like once or twice since for stuff, but for what I've done so far with this eye tracking stuff, I've been using the webcam in my laptop. It's been alright. But for recording, I wanted to do it with the PC, but I couldn't find my webcam before I left to come away. So, but I don't think we're going to get that far anyway in recording for today. So, yeah, probably the next video. I had expected this week to be doing a video on finding a mod conflict, but as I said, it turns out the issue that I've been having with vehicles sinking is actually a game bug. I found out about this thanks to the Giants Partner Forum, because someone had asked about the vehicle sinking bug. And I was like, is that this? And posted a picture of what I'd been having problems with. Actually, because we've got a slight chance of missing stuff, and we can extend these guys out a little bit, just to try and catch the missed bits. I generally don't like extending these mowers because I find it means you miss bits on the turns, but just to get these headlands, I think we'll do that. We might still end up missing bits, but you know, because I didn't do a very good job. Yeah, I didn't do a very good job on the first one. I'm just going to pull them back in. Oh well. Lavy, folks, Lavy. Yeah, someone had posted in the Giants Partner forum or Discord about it, asking if Giants sorted it, and I then got help from one of the other Giants partners on what the issue is and how to resolve it. And it's this susp travel variable, and if it's 0.1 or lower, and I'm assuming the lower it is, the worse it is, you'll get this intermittent sinking problem. And so, for example, the tanker trailer that I'm using has a value of 0.1, and you need 0.11 to not have issues. Until Giants fix it, the solution is to either go through things and fix them, or for modders to fix them, or to find vehicles that have appropriate values. And before I started playing today, I did have a quick look to see if I could find replacements. And would you believe it? I think the default value is probably 0.1, because a whole load of stuff that I looked at used to value 0.1. So yeah, that was a little bit annoying. So I'm going to probably end up having to do the headlands a bit differently, but it is what it is. Yeah, so just got to wait for Giants to fix it, it seems. But it was kind of, I'm glad I found that, rather than spending however long doing the, because what I thought it would be a good video for getting views, basically, of repeating this is how you find a mod conflict video that I did for FS 22. I think I did it for FS 22, because although it's the same process, it's kind of sometimes people won't watch a video from the previous version of the game to find information for current version of game. Although some of my old videos like that are still getting, solid regular views. And I was just going to sit and go through. I was going to go through the process, make sure I found the offending. This is going to be so annoying. I'm going to have to do this twice, I think. Oh, so annoying. Is it got wrong working width? Or do I just need to extend these things out now? That looks right. Let's kick you out to the side, and maybe it'll be okay. Maybe it'll all be okay, folks. Yeah, it looks like we're on track once we get to the end. Yeah, I was going to go through the process, find the offending mod, and then, because this is how I made the previous video, little peek behind the scenes, I went through, did the process, found the offending thing, and then repeated it for the video. It's not always live. It's not always live recorded, I guess, because that was never actually live. But anyway, yeah. So I was gonna repeat that because I thought it'd be a good video. but I didn't actually get around to it. And before I got round to it, I found out that actually it wasn't a mod error on my part. It's a giant bug, and they didn't fix it in the last update based on the update notes. I've not actually checked. I did just dev controls that broken trailer backwards and forwards because I just couldn't be asked tonight. So yeah, if this is going to be on my one weather whinge for this video, I'm allowed one weather whinge per video while it's crazy hot in the UK. It's in the high 30 degrees Celsius in the UK. If you're in a country where it is routinely hot, yes, it may or may not be hot for you. The UK is not set up for hot weathers. Routinely, our buildings do not have aircon, and it's very hot for us. So I don't care if in your country that's not hot. For us, it is hot. And today's been... So I was actually quite lucky in that most of where I've been working today has been air conditioned, which is very rare, but not all of my time today has been spent in air conditioning. So when I got in my car today, my car's steering wheel and controls were so hot I could not touch them, because our car parks are not set up for the fact that it's very hot. So our cars are not parked in shade, they are parked in direct sunlight. That meant my car was registering a temperature of 41 degrees C when I got in it. My car has aircon, and after a bit of time it had cooled down. I found out also my car's air conditioning has a minor fault on it, which is very easy for me to sort now I know. Yeah, so fun. Like I know in the US, a lot of the car parks in the hotter states all have shade over the parking spaces so that when you park your car, it doesn't get quite so hot. Most of the car parks in the UK don't have that because we only have, you know, maybe a week or two per year where it gets this hot. Now, because at home, we, when Mrs. D was working, she worked, her job created an environment that was very hot. So in the summer, even if it was warm, she would struggle. So we brought an air conditioning unit for her work. And we've still got that, even though she hasn't worked now for many years and probably won't ever work again because of her health problems. But we've still got the air conditioner that we brought for her work. And we've still got all of the place where she worked because she worked from home. It's currently storing all of the teenagers' stuff because it doesn't fit in her room. But we've got that air conditioner. We use it in the house now, which means that like our main lounge space we can air condition, which is great because the dog hates hot weather. So that's nice. We have a cool room that we can be in, and because the room that I work in, it has me and my work laptop. It's quite a small room. Quite often when I'm working, because quite often when I'm working, I end up working with the door shut and the window shut to not have noise going out of or coming into the room. So it gets quite warm, particularly if I've then got on like I quite often have my work laptop on my laptop so that I've got internet, like unmonitored work internet, not work internet. And then I might have on one of my two gaming computers, just, I might have like a video rendering or something in the background, and that generates a lot of heat in a relatively small space. So with that all going on, it gets quite warm. So last year, I think I spent the 100 odd, maybe I think it might have been close to £200 on an air conditioning, portable air conditioning unit for that room as well. And again, there's maybe a few weeks to a month of the year where I need that, but that time period where I need it, it's so good having it available, that it's very definitely worth having. And I'm not gonna not have it at this point. It's very rare in the UK to have built-in air conditioning like proper hot countries do. It's becoming more common actually. This global wham mix, something. But apparently, it's getting hotter in the world. In France this week, I think they've seen into the 40s, which is like record temperatures. So it's been quite hot in the Europe land. So, right, we'll undrop the mowers. Undrop the mowers would actually mean picking them up, wouldn't it? Yes, well done, me. We'll drop the mowers, and we'll go from 244 horsepower, big John Deere. I should have done a thumbnail with that guy, into whatever horsepower, little Deutz. Go, little Deutz. Because we've got to do some tedding. So, yes. Why have you suddenly slowed down? Why are you repeatedly slowing down and changing? Oh, you're changing gear. Come on. Are you sinking? You're sinking. I haven't used this tractor in a while. So I think we're going to have to drop you. We'll use the Steyr. The Steyr has worn out tyres. The Use Your Tyres mod keeps telling me they do look a little bit semi-slicks. We're running semi-slicks over here. Now I think just for tedding, that'll be fine. It'll be fine. Look at the speed of the semi-slicks. I think it'll be fine for tedding, folks. I think it'll be fine. Yeah. So I'm not sure how many times we're going to have to ted the grass. And there is an element of natural drying, but I think we want to get a wriggle on, given that we've got some weather inbound. So yeah. Come on, tractor. It's really weird playing with sound. But because it's warm, did I say I would only whinge about the weather once? It's actually more where the computer is in the room that I'm in. There's a lot more computer noise than I would normally have. It's also rather toasty. So yeah. But not a lot I can do about that, to be honest. It's the downside of a compact form factor. I think the case is acting partly as a heatsink. So yeah, that's the thing. So we are closing in on the release of the next Dulce. In my robust duties as Giants partner, I have looked at Nout. I might actually attempt to engage with it this time. I think I did nothing on the Vareda one. Genuinely was not interested at all. I'm not super interested in this one. I am not sure how much time I'll have this weekend. We have an 80th birthday this weekend. And a family barbecue for said 80th birthday. Which I am not super excited for, to be perfectly honest. Um, let's just check our moisture system settings. You might think that's me sounding grumpy. I'll talk about that in a second. Moisture system. Heading. Do I just whack it up? 5% is not going to be enough anyway. I'm going to do 4%. Yeah, so it's father-in-law's 80th birthday this weekend. And the only reason that we're having a family barbecue is because it's expected that we have a family barbecue. I believe, allegedly. I'm not sure how much he actually wants to do anything. But so it was my dad's 80th birthday. I'm gonna be bad son here. It was either this year or last year. I'm really bad with this kind of stuff. I'm really bad with it. Full stop. I barely remember how old I am. In fact, I couldn't tell you at this point exactly how old I am in years. Vaguely, I can. But I always have to think about it. Partly because I really don't care. At this point, with how old I am. Yeah, so I think my dad's 80th was this year. But why don't I care? Why don't I know? Because my dad didn't care. My dad didn't do anything for his 80th birthday. Apparently we're a little bit alike. He didn't want a big party. He doesn't want parties. He doesn't want that kind of stuff. And so we didn't do a party or anything because he didn't want it. And he won't just do it because it's expected of him. Those of you that know me might be recognizing some common traits. Yeah, apparently we're a little bit alike. Anyway, father-in-law is not quite so robust. So, yes. It's not huge, but I think it means that so lately, I think I've mentioned, most of my weekends are spent in recovery mode from work, because work is quite tiring at the moment. And this weekend I'm not going to get that, which kind of sucks. But we crack on, we carry on. I am potentially taking Monday off work, because work owes me quite a lot of time from being busy lately. I also have a neurology appointment on Monday. It's just like I say routine. I haven't seen a neurologist in a long time, but it's to do with this like routine care of my headache. So it's nothing particularly scary. But yeah, so that would be cool. It'd be good to get those checked. Well, to have a restart ongoing care of those. But yes, I'm probably going to be taking Monday off just because I have the ability to. It's funny. I'm going to stray into territory which I find curious and interesting, and if you are from the land that I'm going to talk about, I don't mean to offend you. And if you're offended, it's not because I'm talking about you, it's because I find your country strange and unusual. America. The reason that it's just jumped into my head is I'm just going to take Monday off because I can. And I see, like when you look on social media, one of the topics that I find is a reoccurring thing in my algorithm is quite often talking about work culture and like the differences between different countries' work culture. There's a female comedian that I follow, and she does a lot of comedian, which is about the differences between English and French work culture. Um, but I also follow a few American comedians who talk a lot about American work culture. And, I find it quite funny reading the comments of these kind of things. And you see, particularly Americans, defending the American culture of having to be tied to work. Now, I'm someone who probably comes across as being tied to their job. I talk a lot about my job, and a lot about being very busy in my job. And some of that is because, as much as I complain about my job, I really enjoy my job. I've been doing the same job now for over 25 years, doing very much the same role, just getting more senior in it. I'm, you know, I'm, I don't know what the right term is. I'm fairly well recognized in what I do as a fairly, I'm good at what I do. That's just probably the easiest way to do it without trying to get too deep into what I do, because what I do I don't really talk about. Um, so the reason that I quite often probably sounds like I'm very tied to my job and that kind of thing is because I really enjoy my job, even though I whinge about it. I'm British. It's what we do. But the idea of, the whole not taking time off work or not being able to take time off work when you want, of like American culture, I find really strange. Um, it's like, so I get, apart from like accrued time off that I can take, nominally we're limited on that to 2 days a month. So that's 24 days a year that we can use as we want, assuming we accrue that much time. Um, but I then get as paid time off now, um, 32 and a half days, I think it is. So 6.5 weeks a year. Plus like the public holidays and stuff. And that kind of, and I can pretty much take that whenever I want, almost at zero notice. And I always find it really funny when you see Americans talking about the whole, and so not every job in the UK is like that. I have a very generous holiday allowance, and I have great flexibility about when I can take it, pretty much. But I always find it very funny with Americans talking about, the how little pay time off they get, and the have it getting cancelled. And this might just be social media stereotyping. I could be wrong. And the expectation that, oh, you've got paid time off, but if you could just keep checking your emails while you're off, and all this kind of stuff. And there are probably people who do jobs in the UK that do that as well, and all the rest of the world. But it seems a very, very much a stereotyped expectation of people in the US. And I know the, difference in like pay time off is a thing. and the not being able, the impression that you just don't have that flexibility with work, certainly seems to be a thing. Um, and I've, a bit of a random rabbit hole there, but yeah, um, generally, so I have busy periods at work, as you guys know, because I often talk about when I'm busy at work. And that sometimes means I can't always take days off when if I have an emergency, I can. Like with Mrs. D's health and stuff, I've quite often had times where I've just can't come to work today because blah. Um, and I think 2 weeks ago, um, I was away with work, and I think she fell over. She fell over the dog. Um, both were. The dog was fine. The dog's fast enough that he just blasted out of the way. So basically, she fell over, but the dog was incidental. The dog is like lightning, so the dog was almost not involved apart from instigating the fall, but she fell over. She managed to land in one of the chairs in our lounge, but it really messed her up. And she basically then spent the following 2 days in bed, um, which meant I couldn't go into work because she needed looking after. And I think, as I certainly said on Discord, I might have said a bit, we've got a new policy at work where we've got to be in the office more. And I was supposed to be in the office after, that, and it's like, well, I can't come into the office because this has happened. They were called about it. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just saying stuff to not have a silent video. I don't know. But yeah. I do like having a job which is generally very flexible. It's I've been working there now for over 25 years, and it's always been one of its major perks. It's not the best paid job in the world, but it's been a job that has always offered really good flexibility since day one. And like for more than half of it, more than half, about half of it, I didn't have kids and things. I've been married for a lot of it, not always to the same person. There's a little bit of insight into my life, which I think I've spoken about before, but if I haven't, a bit of insight into my life. But yeah, I've been married for most of it, but not always had like kids and had that kind of commitment to worry about. But I've always liked the flexibility because I like to be able to adapt to things. I like the fact that if I get to 2 o'clock and I'm fed up, I can go home. I can stop work. Assuming I've not got something in my calendar that means I've got to be there. If I'm just working and doing my stuff and I've not got a meeting or whatever on my calendar, just done. Monday. I was in the office on Monday. My normal office is not air conditioned. Okay, I'm going to talk about the weather more than once. My normal office is not air conditioned. It hit 29 degrees. It was, I think I've missed a pass there because that one's not gone light grey. Yeah, it hit 29 degrees. It was horrid. It was starting to give me a headache with the heat. Interestingly, I don't know about other countries, but there is no maximum temperature you can work in the UK by health and safety law. I think that's because in some environments it is naturally hot, and so if there was a limit, it would mean you couldn't do some jobs. Although they could probably get around that with a dispensation because, a job-specific dispensation. Anyway, there is currently no maximum temperature for things like office work and that kind of stuff. But it got to the point where I was struggling to focus and be effective at my job at about 2 o'clock on Monday. And so I said, screw it, I'm going home. And, you know, it was fine. Particularly as for the last few days, I've been doing traveling and all that sort of stuff, which generally means my days are longer. So, yeah. And I like that. There is generally no expectation that you work all of the hours on the earth, and particularly you don't book them. Yeah. Tis good. Tis good. We're nearly done with the TEDing, and I think with where we are in the length of the video, I'm probably going to wrap things up soon. Partly because I would like to get this video sorted and uploaded, because I would like to not be going super late tonight, because I'm kind of tired from 2 fairly intense meetings today at work. So I will probably, we'll get this finished and I'll wrap this up. What I think I'll do is I'll do the second pass of TEDing off camera, because it's going to look an awful lot like this. And then next video we'll crack on with the rest of the stuffs. Sound good? I'm glad you agree, because I can't hear you disagree right now. If you really, really disagree, you could use that comment section and write a nice long comment for algorithm. We do like old algorithm. They are a very, very helpful thing. So yeah. Thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. I do appreciate you guys. You keep things trundling along nicely. It is very much appreciated. I am going to see if I can do some content on the new DLC if I get chance over the weekend. It does depend on how things go with family socializing stuff, because you know that's going to be hard work. I can't believe it's already Wednesday. This week seems to have gone by very, very quickly. But, you know, tis what it is. Tis what it is. Yeah, so we'll get this finished. Get the TEDing finished off camera. Because then we can speed through the windrowing and the baling and get on to trying to do something a bit different with getting the bales stacked. So I think that'll be either really fun or really frustrating. One of the two. So we'll see. But yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're in the UK, I hope you, at this point, have survived the heat wave, have stayed out of the sun, are staying hydrated, and something that I've not really mentioned much, but if you are on certain medications, are staying aware of the fact that they have different effects in the heat, and maybe more or less effective, or may make you more susceptible to the effects of heat. So yeah, look after yourselves, folks, and I will see you all next time.